I had to run away from home and flew out of my country. They stopped talking to me after I left and they said I betrayed the family. I just wanted to see more. I wanted to see what's out there. That's how I started my career as a model. Before, I had a little bit of cellulite. I felt so unconfident on the beach. I would design something that would look really sexy, close my imperfections. The main idea behind this brand, one of the most important things in business, to find the right people who would love what you do. I am a solo traveler. I really like to travel to the places where most of the people don't go. I just decided to surrender and feel safe. Whatever happens, I don't want to worry. I have a charity foundation which is in Ukraine. It's for kids and animals in shelters. So many of us, we are just blessed from the beginning and we forget about that, and then we have such a big desires and try to achieve more. If there's something bad happens or dangerous for me, that's okay. I will go through that.
Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Many Firsts, the podcast where we explore the power of first-time experiences and share transformative and inspirational moments in our lives. I'm your host, Regula Fischer, and I'm super happy to be here today live in the studio with Rimma Pastyr. Welcome, Rimma.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Regula, for inviting me for your podcast. It's super exciting. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm super happy to have you. And I would like to introduce you very briefly to our audience. You are an international fashion designer and model, and you're very passionate about combining style, comfort, and sustainability. And you launched your label Intransparent, I think maybe 3-4 years ago. And just very recently, you launched Reflection Lingerie together with Anna and Regan, which was, it also kind of connects a community of women. And that's where a special event took place today that we can probably talk about. So a first time today, right?
Right.
I also know that you like to travel, and that a lot, I think, from your travels, you took a lot of inspiration, I think also for your work, but that's maybe something we can talk about also, because I know that just in the past few days and weeks, you had a few first times, I believe, in terms of travel, because I know that you were in Africa. And are there any first times from the last few days or weeks that you could talk about and share with us that may have left an impact or inspired you in a specific way?
Oh yeah, definitely. So this year I went to Africa for the first time, and I have planned it for a while. And what I can say, I absolutely loved it, because there's so much to learn from people who live there, and so much to feel and so much to explore, and to go to that beautiful nature and to be able to connect with that and see all those living beings and trees. It's just so nice. Like, I would definitely recommend everyone to go there, but just to make sure you are safe and you're going with your friends.
Interesting that you mentioned you're going with your friends, because I know you also like solo travel, right?
I am.
So does it depend a bit on where you go, if you go solo or with others, or how is that for you?
Yeah, so I am a solo traveler. I travel solo 99% of my time. But if I go to the dangerous country, like for example, the last country I've been to is Gabon, I try to make sure I have a friend there or I know someone. So if there's something happens, which I hope no, I can call to someone and ask for protection.
So you basically have a friend locally then in the country.
Right.
Oh, that's a very good advice. I'm very sure.
And as we're building a community and as we're having like a lot of people around us, which are from so many different countries, I'm sure like you can find easily someone who is in that place where you want to go.
Yeah, and also today with social media and so on, right? There's communities where it's so much easier than in the past to connect with people that we may not even have known and just find through our friends of friends and so on. I'm happy to hear that this all worked out and you came back safely. And just connecting with people around the globe, and often also solo. Do you think it helps when you travel alone that you connect even more with people?
I think it's only depend on our preferences, because for some people it's quite difficult to travel alone. But in my case, it probably gives me some more freedom. Like I can, let's say, go anywhere I want, without, let's say,
compromising.
Yeah.
Talking about decisions.
I love travel. I love to travel with someone, but there are some things which most of my friends would not like doing. Like, let's say, going to the village to African village and stay there at night. I mean, there's nothing happens. There's nothing to see. So it's a little bit, might be boring. And so I don't want to even force anyone to do that. And at the same time, so I would not leave my friend alone in the city and go to the village. Like, this is just an example.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So that means you are not after like glossy sightseeing pictures, but you're really after getting as close to the experience of local communities as possible. That's what you like to do.
Right. I can say I like both. Like, for me, it's very important to have a beautiful and cozy, amazing place where I can come back and sleep, where I can come back and work. And at the same time, I would like go to the most unexpected destinations and see like the most non-luxury things. But then I always need to come back to my clean and nice place, which is like, can be very, as you said, glossy.
Yeah, so between maybe the familiar and the stable to the unfamiliar and this exploration, that's of course also what Many Firsts is about, right? So this exposure to newness, to things we are not so familiar with, to just get us inspiration also, and a fresh mind. So why Africa? Why did this come up for you? Is there a specific story behind that, or?
I really like to travel to the places where most of the people don't go. And that's the first reason. And the second one, I really like to see how people live in countries like Africa, in like, let's say, slums of India, because it, like, once you see it, it really makes you appreciate whatever you have. And you see like that your little problems are not really problems. Like, you can solve those, but there are actually people who are starving, who don't have anything. They have no water, they have nothing. And like, all they want to, like, for the next 1 week is just $1 to be able to buy a food. And we just have all of that and we just don't see it. Like even the soft bed we sleep on, we don't pay attention how special that is and how many people don't have it.
It's very true what you're saying. So it's basically putting things into perspective, or giving new perspectives, fresh perspectives on things.
Definitely. Yeah. And the most touchy thing for me is seeing kids. Like, I have this beautiful memory, I call it beautiful, from India. I've been on the street and then I saw the mother with the child. They're so, like, the child is very clean and happy. And then another child, like a street child without shoes, like without proper clothing, looking very like dirty, I can say, like in the mud. And the child comes to another child while their mother is busy, and they're the same age, and they just look at each other. And those little guys, they don't know like that they're like at such a different level, but they are. And to actually see it, and like, it was such a special moment for me, because so many of us, we are just blessed from the beginning and we forget about that. And then we have such a big desires and try to achieve more and have a lot of expectations. And it makes us feel sad and upset. But actually, we skip the very important part, to be grateful and just to be here and just to enjoy the fresh air and just to be alive.
Running water and
being alive.
Yeah, just being alive. It's very beautiful what you're saying. Has that always been a theme for you? You know, if you look back, have you always been wanting to go and travel to maybe places that people would not go to in the first place, or the majority wouldn't? And have you always understood that this brings in this element of gratitude to your life, or did this come up maybe more recently for you?
I think my purpose of going there was one of that, to feel more grateful for what I have. Because as we are in Dubai right now, it's very easy to live here and then to see your little problems, but it's very important to go out sometimes to another places and to see what the life can be like. This is not it's not like this everywhere, like here. It's not so luxury. It's not so, like, everything is not so available, and people have completely different life.
Yeah.
And in the places where, let's say, $100 is a lot of money, people live like months for this money. And we just like, we just worry here if we don't have few thousands. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it creates understanding, empathy, and it's very true. But do you sometimes also feel helpless when in situations where you see that people are suffering, or how do you cope with that? Maybe also, I don't know, keep a distance, or do you not need to? Or how is that for you?
So when I see people like that, I can say, I have a lot of compassion. I get a lot of I feel very compassionate, and at the same time I feel very inspired, because I really feel like giving them wherever I can. And I think just giving is one of the most important things in life, because it brings so much joy and happiness. And when you can just share a little bit of what you have with others and you see those happy faces, it's just so amazing. It's worth living and worth working hard. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And you feel that, I mean, one thing we can give, of course, is not materialistic. For example, our time, right? Or a smile. And I know you give a lot of these. But do you also, I mean, now maybe also bringing in your businesses and starting with Intransparent, where, maybe you explain first what Intransparent, what's behind that brand.
So Intransparent is my first brand. I wanted to create I wanted to create a swimwear in the beginning, but then I added some elements, like, for example, I will talk about a specific one, like pants, which are transparent, but they cover the legs. So my idea was to cover the parts which, for example, I will be very honest, like why I actually did it. Because before I had a little bit of cellulite, which we girls really don't like. And I felt so unconfident on the beach, and I would be like, I don't want to wear bikini and feel like really unconfident. So I would design something that would look really sexy and close in my opinion, imperfections. So that was the main idea behind this brand and why I created this. But then it converted to something bigger, like people started to wear it for festivals and for other events.
Thank you for sharing that. What I wanted to bring in also is the fact that, so this is more the materialistic side of the world, right? But are you somehow connecting the giving part? Of course, you're bringing this beautiful and creative and inspirational fashion to your customers, your clients, in that sense, to the world. And is there a connection to what you also see in the world, where people suffer or do not have as much as we might have? Did you bring that together somehow, or is this are these different topics? Because I know you're about sustainability and so on, right? So just checking if you connect these somehow or not.
Yeah, so I connected through myself, because I connected in the way, so I have a charity foundation, which is in Ukraine, and it's for kids and animals in shelters. So it's for someone who doesn't have a caretakers. And so most of these places, as there is a war, and I mean, the war in my country, they're like lack of essentials. So I try to provide with that as much as I can.
And how do you do that? Remotely, fully, or
remotely?
Yeah.
Right.
And the business, so Intransparent, I think you also worked. It's kind of a global company, right? So you wherever you are based, you would be designing, launching, and then people can buy it online and from anywhere.
Right. I'm just really blessed and lucky to have a beautiful team who handle a lot of things. So I don't have to be there to make it work.
And the team is also global and remote.
Right. They are in Ukraine. Yeah. And I think one of the most important things in business to find the right people who would love what you do. So, as I said, I've been really blessed to find those people.
And now that brings us to your new business, the next label you founded and co-founded, and that's Reflection Lingerie. So I find it interesting that transparent or intransparent and reflection in somehow, you know, it's about seeing something and not seeing for both, because a reflection is, you just get a kind of a bit more blurred version of what the real thing we believe is. And with transparent, intransparent, it's also this kind of in-between worlds.
Right.
Is that, I mean, a coincidence, or is this something?
I think that's a coincidence. But at the same time, their brands are really different. Like, for example, for Reflection, we are using only silk, and it's a very classy model, so we don't do any prints. At least for our first drop, we haven't done it. And it's something what you can mix and match with everything. Like, it's a lingerie and clothing combined. And it's something what you can wear at home, or you can combine it with everything, like with other element of your wardrobe, and just look amazing and beautiful.
It is actually what I saw so far from Reflection is it looks very comfortable and still very sensual also, you know. It's interesting because I think lingerie often also has this aspect of it's again, maybe I'm saying glossy, but you know what I mean, right? It's very kind of sophisticated at times, and this line looks very kind of natural and still special. So how do you're the creative mastermind behind that. How do these ideas come to you? Is there a specific, you know, like approach that you use, or is it each time different?
Each time different, actually. I just wanted to make something what everyone would wear and what everyone would like, and as I said, what you can mix and match with everything. So we want to avoid overconsumption and keep it like essentials for every wardrobe.
It's interesting what you're saying, like overconsumption also and sustainability, right? So how do you deal that? Because obviously in the world today, it's a big topic and everyone wants to kind of contribute, but sometimes I think we don't really understand fully why, because still we keep producing, right? So how do you approach the topic of sustainability?
So in our case, this is a next step in our project, in Anna's and Regan's and mine. We want to make sure that the product gets stitched after the person orders it. So we don't keep any stock. So we don't have anything wasted. So this is the main idea.
No Amazon in between or storage in that sense. So I mean, maybe on the delivery out, but not it would not be stored and.
Right. So it might take a little bit more time to deliver. But it's our way to make it sustainable.
And how do you find the production locations also for Intransparent, right? Do you, as you travel, I mean, is that also something that you come across as you travel? You find places where you think you may want to base your production in, or what's your approach?
So for Intransparent, I have my own little factory where we do it.
Really?
Yeah. And for Reflection, we are thinking, like, should we get our own or should we outsource it? Like, I mean, find it outside somewhere. So we are still on it. As you know, it's a new project and there's so much more to happen. So we are open for different kind of possibilities for it.
I see. And the factory, where is it based? Also in Ukraine?
In Ukraine, right.
Yeah. And it's still, it's running in that sense. Good. That's good to know.
Yeah, we make also clothes for other brands because, if we don't, let's say, get enough orders, so people still have their job and they're able to get the salary and everything. So that's why we are doing some production for a few other brands as well.
Oh, that's good. And that these people are also part of the team, right? You mentioned before. That's very, very good to know. And it's also your home country. I didn't say that in the introduction, right? Ukraine is where you are from.
Right.
How is it with being away from Ukraine? How is that for you? And
it feels good. It feels okay. It feels okay. I have been away from Ukraine for a long time. But just all I could do is just to help people to feel a little bit better about what's happening. And I mean, me going back to Ukraine will not change anything really, but all I can do is give.
Yeah, I mean, also in general, right? It's sometimes when people are away from their home, and now it may be even more special because of the war and the situation in your home country. But you decided at some point to leave. Was that because you felt you wanted to leave, or is it more job related, or what made you live outside Ukraine?
Yeah, I absolutely love Ukraine and the city I born in, but I like to explore other places and people and what's out there. So that was probably the reason.
Yeah. And where did you first go from?
Oh, the first country where I went was Turkey. I was 17. Yeah. And then India. So yeah, when I worked as a model. So that's how I started my career as a model. I had to run away from home and flew out of my country because my family never traveled. I never been until I was 17 in any another city of Ukraine. And they stopped talking to me after I left. And they said I betrayed the family. But then everything was fine when they saw I'm doing well and I'm safe, everything is good. So yeah, they started to be even happy for me.
Thank you for sharing that. And you had the courage at the age of 17 to just go. So did you really go without saying goodbye? You basically just
I didn't.
A secret plan and
I didn't. And it was not a nice thing what I have done at that time, but I had no choice, I can say, because I wanted something more. So I gave them a paper to sign, like from the university. I would always get it. So I just gave it to them and they just signed it without seeing it. And one of those papers was a paper, like a permission to leave. So that's what I did. Yeah.
Wow. Is that because you needed to be of a certain age to leave?
Right.
Yeah. And but you finished school or you left school also?
No, I didn't leave the school. I started to study. How do you say that? Like when you don't go to the school frequently, but then like I had to go for exams only.
Okay.
So
I don't even know, like remote. I don't know, half remote. So
I was studying remotely.
Remotely. Okay. And so the courage, can you remember, I mean, what gave you the courage or how did you find it in yourself?
I just wanted to see more. I wanted to see what's out there. I felt like, I loved Ukraine, but then I felt there's so much more out there. Like I want to see it. I want to explore. I want to know who are those people who live in those countries. Like what are the cultures? So that really motivated me to leave.
And I think with what you're bringing back in experience in sharing may also be an inspiration for others, right? Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. Now, with regards to the industry you're in with modeling and fashion and beauty, it is maybe sometimes talked about as a superficial world also, right? Is that, how do you perceive it? Is it the case for you? How do you see the world, you who are inside?
How do I see the world?
The world of fashion and beauty and modeling, is what people often say it's about the surface, right? But I know that you have so much depth also, like probably everyone in some aspect, in some ways who is in the industry, but there may be some balance that you need to create for that.
Yeah, I think so. There are many minuses and many pluses. And I think that's a very long topic. I can talk about it like for a day. But how to find balance? I think, as we have discussed many times, it's all about yourself. It's all about knowing what you want and not doing the things that you don't want. Yeah, because if you talk about modeling, like usually people start at a very young age, and it's very easy to go to the wrong direction or do the things that someone wants you to do. But you just don't want to do it, like in fashion as well. Yeah.
So, and that's something that you've had in you since you were young, to keep your boundaries, and say no to things that don't feel good.
I tried to. I definitely tried my best, but it's not easy. So there is actually, I think I should share it. Yeah, so there are like in many countries, a lot of young people, they go because they want to earn money, or they want to become famous, or I don't know, they have problems with family and they want to leave. And the thing is, when people are so young, it's very easy to manipulate them and like take them under control.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's very hard to be like self-centered, strong, and own your space and energy. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's maybe not so usual. I think I feel this about you, that there's a certain calmness and firmness that you have in you. Is this something you consciously practice, Is this your nature? Do you have any grounding rituals or practices, or is this just Rimma?
I think it's 70% of just me. This is a part of me, and another 30, of course, the breathwork and the meditation and the decision that. So I had a decision one day that I just decided to surrender and feel safe here. Like whatever happens, I don't want to worry that, let's say, someone will kidnap me in Africa or something will happen. I just gonna feel safe and trust to whatever happens. Because even if there's something bad happens or dangerous for me, that's okay. I will go through that, and I will feel amazing again. And I will feel even more amazing because I know what means feeling bad. So and I would have the chance to compare those two things and really be grateful and appreciate everything good what's happening to me, like every smile and every beautiful act of people and beautiful weather and the animals around me and everything like that.
Wow, there's a lot of wisdom in that, and it says all about the resilience, right? You're building, and the trust in yourself and in life. Basically, that's what I hear from that. Yeah. So talking about first times, is there a first time you have on your mind that you would want to create for yourself, for the community, for the world?
Sorry,
a first time, like a first thing or experience that you would like to create for yourself, the community. I mean, we could take the reflection community, for example, or even the world, that you would really like to make contribute to or see happening in this in the next kind of
I'm sorry,
the near future.
I didn't really get the question fully.
A first time, like a new experience or a new something. It can be an experience or it can be really a product, right? That you would like to create or bring into this world. Is there something that you have as a vision?
Yeah, so I think, for the first time, as you know, we just launched our community.
Yeah.
And I found it extremely beautiful. Like, it was our first branch, and we had more than 100 women joining us, and they were so inspiring and so amazing, and everyone was so special. And I think that's something what is driving me. That's something what makes me so alive, and feel so grateful for everything. Yeah.
So continue with that. That's, as you said before, right? There's a few more steps also with regards to the lingerie that are for sure being created. And I hear this also from you, this like feeling alive, right? This gratitude for life, that this is something that you live by. I find that very inspiring.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for now, our mission about the community is to awaken that light in each other and just create and just be supportive, because I think there are a lot of women in the world which need a lot of support and a lot of love from another women. And even if they don't live in countries which are restrict their voice or other things, they still need it. Like, there's so many places and so many situations when women just close themselves in the box and suffer for years and years and years. And I think we should just break that pattern and teach everyone how to be free and how to enjoy and how to express themselves and just to enjoy this beautiful existence on the planet.
This beautiful and unique, as we believe, right? Existence and experience. And as you are giving so with so much love and it's something that you really like, right, to share and to give, where do you receive?
I definitely receive, like when I see happy people, when I'm just around some amazing human beings, when I see the smiles, and like when we share the compliments and the ideas, and then we just nourish each other like this. It really like fulfills me, for sure.
Yeah, that's very nice to kind of. It sounds like. Yeah,
like
what
circle,
you give
like,
comes back, right? Yeah.
Right.
And how is that for you? The connection. I think there's something about physical connection and being physically with people in a room like today, right? And then there's obviously remote connections or connections where we may not see people really like physically so much. Is that like something that you are very much aware of, or is it similar? I mean, do you feel a difference in that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely nice to connect in person. But then even if it's online, I mean, even if you know that you got that amazing friend who got you back and who gonna support you, and just whenever you feel a little bit sad, like the friend gonna say, don't worry, I'm here for you. It's all fine. Like, and you just feel beautiful. I mean, you just feel the existence of that beautiful person that the universe have gifted to you.
So it's basically through connections around the world, you also really receive, but you're also definitely someone that gives a lot and has a lot to give.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We need people around us. We definitely do. And people can put us down or lift us up. Yeah, depend on people we're hanging out with, definitely.
What do you do? Does it happen sometimes? I guess, that people may rather drag you down. What's your approach there?
Yeah, I think it happens quite a lot. And I think just it's very important to understand that they're not doing it because of they're bad people or something. They might just not understand what they're doing, or they're just too afraid of something and then they're trying to pull you down. I mean, it's good if you could just help them and tell them, like, talk to them, or otherwise just disconnect if nothing works, and they will find their way to the light, and they will find what's right for them and what's good for them. Yeah.
Again, there's a lot of trust that you're expressing with that. So I think this is really a beautiful thing about you, and that you share and inspire others to trust, right, in themselves and in life. So thank you so much for sharing that today with us. And I wish you all the best with all the next first times. And keep this trust and keep sharing it and inspiring. It's so important.
Thank you,
Rimma,
so much. It was a pleasure to be here and to talk to you. And thank you so much for all these beautiful questions. And I really appreciate your existence and everything you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. If you liked today's episode, it would mean the world to us. If you like it, share it with anyone who could need a boost in courage and love. We would also love to hear from you. What are your reflections? How do you trust in yourself and life? What are the firsts that you would like to create and see in this world? We will love to hear from you, and we will see you next first time. Until then, much love and courage. Ciao.